Today is 1/22/21. You can make it through Jesus by speaking life over your life. You can make it through Jesus by speaking life over your life. So now I am just continuing from part 1 of a letter to my son, and this is going to be part 2 of 2. This is going to be part 2 of 2. So I stopped with Joseph, but I'm not done because I still want you to see, the fruit that wisdom will produce for you, because I don't want you to settle. And I know some people may say, "Oh, you're setting your kids up to fail." No, I'm not. I'm setting them up to get them to see you deserve the absolute best. And I want you to be patient enough. I want you to know yourself well enough. I want you to expect more from God than what you might have expected from him up until this point. Because you don't know best until he gives you best. But I'm trying to show you what best looks like. So you have an ideal in your mind of what you're looking for, and you won't settle for anything less. Because remember, faith is being sure and certain of what you don't see. Who says you can't have the faith that God won't send you wisdom manifested in the flesh? Nothing is impossible for them that believe. Don't let anyone put limits on your mind of what you can have in your life, my son. Enough of being limited by people when you have a God that says there's no limits to me. So if you want to be treated like this, then you can have this. If you want to be treated the way you deserve to be treated, you can have this. If you would just let me. Remember what Isaiah 48:17 has to say. Teaches you what is best for you, directs you in the way you should go. I'm just trying to teach you, son, what is best for you and direct you in the way you should go. If you do not feel that wisdom is best for you, then don't look for her. But if you feel that what I'm showing you on these videos are best for you, then ask our Father. Pray with me. Pray with me, son, for a moment. Lord, I come before you right now. I, up until this point, have not been able to see my wisdom manifested in the flesh. I voluntarily yield my eyes over to you. I voluntarily yield my heart over to you. I ask you to make me strong enough where I can be patient enough to allow you to put wisdom in my pathway. I thank you for allowing my eyes to see her when she comes. I thank you for knowing, helping me to know, and helping me to hear from you. There she goes. There is your wisdom manifested in the flesh. And Lord, when I meet her, let her know that she was created for me, Lord. I thank you for doing that for me. In Jesus' name. For you, son. Now, let's get it. I got to get back into finishing this part 2 of 2 off real quick. So I finished with Joseph. Now I want to show you another man that he had wisdom, and let's see if wisdom did the same thing. Daniel. Bam, Daniel. And I'm only going to hit Daniel today, and that's going to be this part, and I'm going to be done with you guys. I know you guys are probably, my son's probably like, all right, Dad, enough. Well, I love you enough that I'm never going to stop. Not as long as I have breath in my body, I'm never going to stop trying to make life better for you. I just can't. I won't. Why will I not? Because my Father has never stopped trying to make life better for me. And as long as he has existence in his breath, and as long as eternity lives, he's going to always look out for me. So I'm just taking the example that my Father left for me. I'm trying to learn from the one that created me. Let's see what Daniel 1 and verse 20 has to say. Daniel 1 and verse 20, check it out. It says here in Daniel 1 and 20, in every matter of wisdom and understanding, paraphrasing, he found them 10 times better. So their wisdom was 10 times better than the rest of the men that they were with. So that shows you right there that there's degrees to this wisdom stuff. So their wisdom was 10 times better. But remember what wisdom say? Well, what wisdom says, excuse me. When I come, you already know what I bring with me. Go ahead and look at go ahead and look at part 1 of this series, of this part, to see if or what she brings with it. Okay, so now let's see if she keeps up that same thing that she did for Joseph. Let's see if she's going to do it for Daniel. Okay, that's chapter 1. Now we're in chapter 2. We're in chapter 2. So now Nebuchadnezzar is king. Nebuchadnezzar is king now, right? Okay, so chapter 2, we're looking at verse 46. Chapter 2, verse 46. Now Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. He didn't understand the dream. He wanted to know what the dream meant. He wouldn't tell anybody what the dream was. They were to go and find the dream and tell them what it meant. So Daniel went and prayed, got the answer from the Lord, thanked the Lord. Now he comes back and tells the king what the dream was and what it meant. And you just saw Daniel's wisdom was 10 times greater than the other men besides his homies. Got it? So now, Daniel 2:46. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell prostrate before Daniel and paid him honor, and ordered that an offering and incense be presented to him. Did not wisdom say, I will exalt you in rank and power? I will also give you honor. I will also bring you riches, honor, enduring wealth, prosperity. Also, I will make your treasuries full. Correct? So the king bows down to a servant of his. Okay? The king says to Daniel, surely your God is the God of gods, the Lord of lords, a revealer of mysteries, for you were able to reveal this mystery. What does a vehicle of God do? A vehicle of God will bring a person back to God. Look at what Daniel helped the king to see. Your God is God. Daniel is being a vehicle of God. Right? See it there? Now let's keep going. He's not done yet. Then the king placed Daniel in a high position and lavished many gifts on him. He made him ruler over the entire provision of Babylon. You see that? And placed him in charge of all its wise men. See what wisdom did? It exalted in rank and power immediately. You see that? He put him in charge immediately. I tried to tell you, son, you want to wait for your wisdom. I want you to see what she's doing, and she does it quickly, right? So now that is King Nebuchadnezzar. So now we're going to go to chapter 5 now. We're still in Daniel. Now we're going to chapter 5, right? So now King Nebuchadnezzar dies, but Daniel is still alive. So now King Nebuchadnezzar's son takes power. So now we're in Daniel 5 now, right? Daniel 5, and we're dropping down to verse 16 through 18. So now, 16 through 18 and verse 29. Daniel 5, 16 through 18, verse 29. Okay, so now Daniel is still in the palace, and he's helping the next king now. Nebuchadnezzar's gone, his son comes in, right? So now there's a writing on the wall. They can't figure it out. The queen says, I know someone. Okay, so now we drop down to 5 and 16, picking up the story. Now the king is talking to Daniel. Now I have heard that you are able to give interpretations and to solve difficult problems. If you can read this writing and tell me what it means, you will be clothed in purple. Yes, you will have a gold ring around your neck. Yes, I will make, oh, here it is. And you will be made the third highest ruler in the kingdom, right? Now Daniel responds. Then Daniel answers the king. Here's Daniel being Daniel. You may keep your gifts for yourself and give your rewards to someone else. Nevertheless, I will read the writing for you, king, and tell you what it means. So Daniel goes on to say, your daddy God got him because he had too much pride in him. Since you didn't want to see that, and since you didn't want to recognize that, and you want to take pride in yourself, and you want to take these gold cups that were set aside for God and his kingdom, and you want to think you're all this and you're all that, well, guess what? God has declared a decree on you. Since you have pride and you have arrogance and you haven't learned from your father, then God's about to do the same thing to you, what he did to your father, because you won't listen to him. Paraphrasing. Now, as we keep doing that, I just gave you a quick version. Now we drop down to verse 29. So Daniel explained to him. Then the king says, now this is what the king makes a command. Daniel was clothed in purple, and a gold chain was placed around his neck. He was proclaimed the third highest ruler in the kingdom. See what wisdom did again? We see that Daniel has 10 times better, right? Or higher wisdom. But you notice every time wisdom puts you in the position, in the face of a leader, you see how wisdom keeps on exalting you. See how wisdom keeps on throwing gifts at you. See how wisdom, every time wisdom puts you in a place, she keeps on exalting you. She keeps on throwing gifts at you. Remember, enduring wealth. Okay, that was one king. We're not done. We're not done. Last one. Next chapter, because that was chapter 5. Next chapter, now you'll see later on that king dies that night, or the next night or something like. Oh no, sorry. The next verse 30. That very night, he got slayed. That king got killed. So now the new king comes in, and Daniel starts serving the new king. Okay, so that's the next chapter, chapter 6. Next chapter, we just finished up in 30. Now we're going right into chapter 6. Here comes the new king now. Boom. So the new king were 6 and 3 through 6. I'm going to skim through it real quick. So what happened here in verse 3? Check this out. Now Daniel so distinguished himself among the magistrates and scribes and all the people, right? His quality was so good, the king planned on putting him in charge of the whole kingdom. Look at verse 3. Because Daniel's affairs were so good. But the men became jealous. Remember I said in a couple of videos, when people see God doing for you, they become jealous. Here are some men. So they concocted a plan, and this is where the whole lion dens came in. They concocted a plan because Daniel was doing his stuff so good, they were mad. They did not want him to keep being exalted in rank and power. They did not want him to have riches, honor, enduring wealth. So they concocted a plan to try to get Daniel killed and thrown into the lion's den. But again, you cannot stop what wisdom is going to do and the speed in which she does it. I want you to see that you can recognize a tree by its fruit. I want you to see, son, you can see wisdom by what she produces. If this is not what's being produced in your life right now, I would ask you to go and pray and ask God to help you to get to where he wants you to be, so that you can receive his wisdom to its full degree. Imagine this, son. You may think in your thinking, your father has lost his mind. You may think in your thinking, man, Lord, you have given him wisdom. To what degree, you can ask your father. But remember this, no matter how much wisdom he may give me, you can surpass me, because I am just a cloud of a witness. You can learn from me. You can extract all from me. You can take all my goods and leave every one of my bads, because there's enough of those you don't need. I'm a human and I'm born into this flesh. I make mistakes. Son, don't take my mistakes. Only take the good that you see as I follow the Lord. That's all I ever want you to extract from me. is my love for the Lord. Take that, and I ask of you, make your love greater than mine. Supersede me, son. Allow your love for Jesus to be 1,000,000 times greater than mine. And what you see him do for me in this lifetime will be nothing compared to what he will do for you in your lifetime. Please make him the center. I do not have much to offer, son. All these material things that I will leave you all, they're just material, and they will leave you when you leave this earth. But what I offer you today, this will stay with you for eternity if you let it. Wisdom is not going nowhere. When God fashioned her, he fashioned her, and she will be with us for eternity. So why not grab a hold of her now? Why not have your wisdom from now until eternity? Your choice. I love you dearly. Be blessed this day.